Michelle and I's signing from 1 to 3, which was more like 1:20 to 3, because we both got there a little late. Michelle was running a little bit behind as well, and we had to go straight from there to the expo because we had to be there at 4 o'clock to set up for another book signing for a different book from 5 to 6:30. And so, I mean, it is fun. Trust me, it is fun. But when you're just nonstop talking to people and signing books and talking to them, and you sign like 100, 125 books in like an hour, you're like a Gatling gun, right? You're just like going through, and then so by that time, we'd been up since 3 o'clock. It was like 6:30 in the evening. Angie and I were starting to get a little frazzled, but that's the fun part of it. The nonstop of it, the seeing folks you hadn't seen for a while, for a year at least, and just catching up with folks is part of the fun of it. But then making new friends and new people is always it's always a blessing, because you don't know who you'll impact or who they'll impact you.
Dale, thanks for carrying the water. We had another issue that just come up, and I see that even our producer is absent from the chat room. Welcome those of you in the pjnet.tv chat room now that we are able to join you. Sorry about that.
Do we start over? Do you want us to start over?
Well,
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, trust me, folks, you didn't miss a whole lot. But on the other hand,
just me talking.
Dale, yeah, missed flights and things of that sort.
Missed flights and
naps and laundry thing.
Yeah. It's fun though. It was the CPE this year was really a good show. It's one of the better ones we've been to, and they're all good, but this is really good.
It's especially significant because last time you were here, you've made a conscious decision to kind of scale back and prioritize certain things, but CPE over the weekend was obviously a priority for you.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a time to reconnect with folks, and it's time to you have some stuff out to promote. You want to help your publisher, they want to help you, and I had some meetings set up with some publishers to talk about my clients, because I do represent some authors. So I had some time to talk to some of them about their projects, about my projects as well, to get back into the swing at full force, and to come away with some really good meetings for a couple of my clients, and then a couple of good meetings for me as well. So those are always productive. So you try to find time between the signings and the interviews to conduct, I'd not say business, but a little bit. Has a meeting set aside. So yesterday as well, Saturday was just a blur because of the airport and the cancellations and the late signings and the other signing, and so finally after Saturday night signing, Michelle and I and Angie and Vicky Durstock, publisher of
In-Game. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we said, hey, let's just go grab something to eat. Let's just get away from everybody for a little bit, and we just got in the car and drove to PF Chang and we sat there for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. In fact, we basically closed it down. And so, but it was good to unwind and not talk about pitches and proposals, and because I'm not anywhere where I need to be as far as an agent. But I had a lot of folks come up to me during my signing of all things. I'm signing books, right, for retailers. Hey, can I talk to you? I have this book idea. I'm like, can this wait? This isn't a really good time. I'm kind of busy. But I mean, and I get that, because I've been there too, and you want to, you may not get a chance to talk to somebody, but I'm doing a signing for, retailers coming through, like you're kind of like a Gatling gun. You're just signing and going to the next one. And then, hold on, I'm getting a text message here. So
I thought I was getting one saying there's a technical problem.
I'm getting my days mixed up. My wife's correcting me, so which is good. So Sunday, yes, we got there Sunday. That's how tired I am. So we got there Sunday and did the book signing with Michelle, and then the book signing the CPE. But then, we're signing things, and a gentleman comes up, nice gentleman, wants me to, I've never met the man in my life, wants to write a book with me, wants me to write a book with him. And I'm just like, this is not a real good time. This is not this time for this. You need to say, hey, can I get some time with you? Can I set up an appointment with you?
Well, and it seems a bit presumptuous to me, to.
Well, hey, you'd be surprised, man. There's a class that
I was going to say
that Karen Porter taught one time. In fact, Alexa's talking to me. Alexa, stop. Jeez, that's nuts. So she's still babbling back there behind my. I'm about ready to unplug her. So anyway, so Karen Porter taught this class one time about when not to pitch somebody, and she said, she's been pitched in the bathroom. People will follow her in the bathroom and give her something.
Yeah.
Just common sense. And Vicky and Michelle had the same thing. But again, that author may never get that chance again. So I get it. I've been there, but there's a way to handle it, and the way to handle it is say, "Hey, Dale, good to see you," or whoever. Hey, can I get some time with you after this, or can you get, can I get your email so I can maybe set up an appointment with you? Yeah, that's fine. To do it during your show, and I had one. I was doing a book signing at the booth yesterday, Monday. Same thing. I've got this great book idea. I want to run by you. I'm like, and so that person's going to get a quick no when I get that email. Just no. Just not going to happen. So.
Well, it's funny because I've been to one of your classes where you emphasized, among other things, be bold. Don't come in here sheepish, but there's a sweet spot somewhere in the middle.
Well, being bold and being just like rude is different. So there's a different thing. But speaking of that, we have the conference coming up in Florida. The Florida Christian Writers Conference in October, and one of the reasons we went out to dinner, Michelle and I and Angie and Vicky went out to dinner was Michelle and I, we don't get a lot of time together, so we wanted to talk. We're teaching a class together. It's a night class at the Florida conference. We're excited about it, and it has a title, and I've added to that title, and it's called "How to Co-Author a Book Together," and I've added on "Without Killing Each Other."
Oh.
Because Michelle and I wrote a book together, right? And so just and every married couple and every people who have partnerships, it's not all roses all the time. And Kyle and I wrote a book together, and Michelle and I wrote a book together, and my other friend John wrote a book together. And everything's not just, hey, this is fantastic. There's some times where you have some little bit of, you get on each other's nerves a little bit, and that's just normal. And so that's part of the reality of writing a book together. Is it's not all, hey, this is great. Hey, you're doing fabulous. There's some tense moments there. That's not going to break a friendship. But there's some times when you're like, I'm really irritated at this person right now because they're not doing this, they're not doing that. And so we're going to talk about how to overcome that, because that is also a problem. When you write a book together, there might be some issues.
Now, Dale, that raises some really interesting questions in my mind, because I know that you have co-authored books with people that you have deep and long-standing personal relationships with. But I've also heard stories of some that I don't feel like you had that. But I get the impression that writing a book together is like going in business together. It's almost like being married in a sense, Does that personal relationship foundation, is that a prerequisite to co-author?
No, not at all. No, it's not, but it helps, I think, because you know the person's style. I think it helps you if you have a relationship with somebody, but I don't think you have to. But I don't know if I'd want to write a book with somebody I didn't know, So I think I don't have to think you have to be, quote, friends. Michelle and I, she's like my sister and I'm like her brother. So, and Kyle's my friend. So yeah, I think it's a better opportunity because you might trust that person. If you don't know somebody, you're going to write a book together, you don't know if you trust them or not.
I've heard, and I've even given advice similar to this. Before you borrow money from a friend, decide which you need more, the money or the friend.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. But again, I don't think this gets that far. But I was kind of doing it in a kind of a sarcastic tone about without killing each other. But yeah, I think it's fun. I mean, Michelle's written some books with Bethany, and same thing. There are some times when you're like, oh, I just want to scratch this person's eyes out. But then 10 minutes later, it's everything's great, right? Because it's your friends and you can handle it. But you can't let that get in the way, and you have to find a way to work around it. Now, Michelle and I's book, you just launched. We had a book signing Sunday at the Barnes & Noble for Heart of a Hoosier. It's up on the screen there. It's an awesome looking book. It was like 99.9% was fun. There was like 0.1% was, I want to kill her. She's like, I want to kill him. That's normal.
Can you imagine a book that got co-authored and written and published, and along the way, the manuscript was done, the book got published, and the two people actually hate each other and don't. Or
I'm sure that has happened. I don't know. I don't know that case, but I'm sure that's probably happened before. There's probably been some friendships broken and some things. But no. So with that, we're going to teach about the fun parts of it and the stress part of it and the deadline part of it. But how to write a book, how to co-author a book together, because it's not as hard as it sounds, but it's not as easy as it sounds either.
I had two questions about the Christian Product Expo. First question is, how did St. Louis, Missouri become the place? Number two, why is it not called the such and such Christian Writers Conference? Is there something different?
Yeah, it is not a writers conference. It's a retail book show. It's for retailers to come in and see what's out, see what's new, see what's coming out for the fall, see what's coming out for the spring. So it's their time. It is not by any means a conference, and that's why it's not really the avenue to pitch things. It's the retailer shows. All your small mom and pop bookstores come together to see what's coming out for the fall, what they want to get, what they want to order. So that's the difference in it, and they bring the authors in to promote the books,
and thus people who want their book published or maybe seeking an agent. Of course, that is ideal feeding ground for them.
It is. It is. Now, see, the difference is for conferences, publishers go to the conferences to try to find talent.
Right.
They go to these shows to try to sell their books.
Right.
And so you're kind of taking up their time to make a profit.
Yep.
So you kind of got to be careful with that. That's why I was careful to line up my meetings at certain times. That's not less to say you can't do it. It's just that's not the prime focus. Whereas a writer's conference, that's one of the main priorities, is to get time with a publisher, an agent, and editor, and talk to them and pitch. At these book shows, that's not the focus.
Okay. So why St. Louis?
Need to know that.
Why St. Louis?
I think, they have them all. They've had them all over the country. They have 2 shows a year. I mean, they've been to the Poconos. We've been to North Carolina. We've been to Nashville or Murfreesboro. We've been to St. Louis. They just, one year there was in Delaware. They just mix it up, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Olympic Committee. They take bids from the municipalities who will pay them, who will show them the most hospitality.
It may be. And so they just kind of, I think, mix it up a little bit.
They probably move it around so that people can,
they do.
They've got more. Yeah. If they're retailers, if it's a mom and pop, they're not going to drive or fly, forever.
A lot of folks come in from Washington State, from Oregon.
I would love to leave that state if I were there.
I know. So they come from all over. They come up from. We met a lot of folks from Iowa, from Maine, again from Washington, from California. So they came in because it's a big show, and so all your major publishers are there as well.
Yeah. Going back, I'm looking at this book cover here, Heart of a Hoosier, and there's 2 things that I look back, and I can remember, even though I'm not a basketball fan really, but I remember back in the 70s, the Larry Birds, shorts used to be short.
Those are starting to come back, actually.
Please, those things look baggy.
Yeah, of course, Michigan, I think, was really one of the first ones to start doing that basketball years ago. They started wearing them kind of long, almost, they would be below the knee.
Right.
And then when you mentioned Bird, who played for Indiana State, they were shorter. And Magic Johnson, those were shorter. Then they started everything. And, everything goes a cycle. So I think in 5 or 6 years, you're going to see him short again.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't make sense to go below the knees. If you're athletic, that's going to, it's going to hinder movement. The other thing, and just random thought, but months and months and months ago, probably a year ago, you made a prediction that the handshake is gone, dead.
I don't know.
Has it been replaced with a fist bump, maybe?
I don't do hardly any of it. Now, I did shake hands with a couple of folks over the weekend, but I didn't shake hands. I would have shaken hands probably 50, 60 times over the weekend, but I think I only did it twice over the weekend. So yeah, we didn't a fist bump like that, but we did shake a couple of people's hands, but I think it's just habit.
When did the high five get invented? There was a day when
clue.
You would shake. There was no such thing when I was in high school.
I should know. I should research that and know that maybe for next time.
Yeah,
We'll have a history on that. That'd be a good blog. That would be a good blog.
well, and you wonder if things aren't cyclical.
But so everything is. But they have, at the CPE shows, the Month's Family does this. They put this on. They put it on for several years, many years. But like last night, we had a nice dinner, and then they have a preview release of a movie coming out. Angie and I got to saw. It's called what's it called? Something of Our Father. Hold on a minute. Show Me the Father is what it was called, by the Kendrick brothers. They put out all those.
I love those. Yeah.
So this will be coming out, I think, September, October. So we get to see a little a sneak release of it. So that's always fun. We've seen a couple of those at these shows, and that's always kind of, they have popcorn for everybody, and you get to sit around them. You can't bootleg it, but anything like that. But you sit and watch it.
Well, they're up about 75 miles up the road. They got their start, and I really am fascinated, not only by their work but by their ministry.
It's good. So they actually have 2 releases coming out, but they only showed 1 last night, and they have 2 coming out in September, October, and then so Show Me the Father will be out in September. We got to see it first. So,
and it's funny because it's the Kendrick brothers. There's 2 of them,
right?
But if the other one walked up and shook my hand, I wouldn't know him if he didn't tell me his name and who he was.
They're not stars, but yeah.
But the one is. He's always usually the lead character.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. This is more of a documentary.
Really?
Well, it is a documentary.
I'm glad to hear that,
it's
Dale.
A documentary, yeah.
Because I'm not a movie critic, and I love what they do, and I want more of it. But the criticism I have of their work up to this point is, there's the usual, the conflict, but basically somebody turns to Christ, and all of a sudden all their problems go away. Well,
I don't know. No.
That is within God's providence, but that's not a promise.
Well, that's what people want to see. They want to see a happy ending. So,
I love what they're doing.
Yeah, so we got to see that. We got to have a nice dinner with Darryl Strawberry last night. He was a keynote speaker, or he was the preacher actually. So he wasn't a keynote speaker; he actually preached. So that was a good time there. Yesterday was a good day. It's been a blur. We haven't had much sleep. Sometimes.
Oh, poor Dale. Well, Dale, when you go to these things, how do you find out the local secret places to go?
Well, I normally do that, but we don't have time. I mean, these shows are, we get up at 7 or 8, and we get back to the hotel or to our room at 10 or 11, and you're at the show. And so St. Louis, I would have loved to go in a little early, got some nice, ribs, some barbecue, but we didn't have time for that. But we talked to like Lyft drivers. Hey, where's a good place to eat? Or where's a good place to go? Like when we go to Nashville, Angie and I went in a couple days earlier for that one, and went to all the nice blues places and got some nice ribs. So, and when we went to the Poconos, we went a few days early and, did a little snow tubing and things like that. So we tried to do that, but this trip we were not able to go down a little early.
Dell, I just was thinking, you were all excited. There was a point that you were destined for the Tokyo Olympics.
Right.
And given how things went, any remorse, or maybe you're glad you didn't go? Any thoughts?
No, not remorse. I'd like to have seen Tokyo. I'd like to go in there just to see that place. I'd like to go to Tokyo. The Olympics, I think, ended up with, people getting sick and tired of the unpatriotic athletes, and they started really embracing the ones who were grateful they won. Mm-hmm. And they started getting more publicity than your Megans, who I still won't eat a Subway sandwich now. They're getting backlash now, finally. Subway's getting backlash for that because they have an unpatriotic, ungrateful athlete who's just disgusting.
Well, and you've got the corporate, and I don't want to raise your blood pressure, but I heard a statement that go woke, go broke.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So,
and I am, I'm grateful, and I guess we just took it for granted. But now I'm especially grateful. But Dell, I'm especially grateful for your ministry because, we met because you were finding those stories of encouragement among athletes, stories of inspiration, finding people, young, men and women that our children could look up to. And I've always felt that was an important ingredient in your ministry recipe, and I really commend you for it.
Well, we got the opportunity to meet Daryl Strawberry yesterday, and spend a little bit of time with him. Actually, just me and Angie and I got to meet Daryl and his wife Tracy. We visited for about 10-15 minutes before the dinner, and then we got to have dinner with them. And their story is incredible. If there's anybody ever down and out, and you need to listen to Daryl's story, because he was down and out, and people turned their back on him. And,
Not the first time you've met Daryl.
I know this was the first time I met Daryl Strawberry. Yes,
I thought you'd written.
No, I'd never met Daryl. So this is the first time we met, but his story is amazing. It's he was he had everything at his feet, obviously everything he wanted in the world, money, everything, but he let addiction take control of his life in various forms. Here's a man making millions of dollars who goes to prison for almost a year, and everybody deserts him, but his wife did not. And so he's been preaching now for 14 years, and I wasn't skeptical going in, but I was kind of wanted to hear it, and I've never heard of a better sermon, one of the best sermons I've ever heard. And that's all he does now. He is an evangelist, and he wants to spread the word. So Daryl's testimony is incredible, and his wife is incredible, because they're both recovering addicts, and they met in recovery. and she's a very gracious lady, very nice. Her name's Tracy, and they were very pleasant to sit around and visit with for a few hours.
Do you remember Lex Luger?
Yes. Yeah.
He was in prison.
Yeah.
You know what he's doing now?
I don't know what he's doing. What is he doing?
He's a preacher.
Oh, I was going to ask that, but I thought
a chaplain. Was bringing Bibles, and Lex Luger, with contempt, said, if you brought me some chocolate, I might bother to listen to you. That chaplain brought him some chocolates, bootlegged some chocolate into that prison. And Lex Luger came to know Christ through that chaplain. And today he is a shriveled up man. You would not recognize him.
A lot of these wrestlers, their bodies are taking this beating.
Once the steroids take their toll.
We ran into Hulk Hogan one time in New York City.
Do you know his real name?
I know it. I can't think of it right now.
Terry Boulder.
Yeah, Terry. I knew it was Terry something. But he was walking like he'd just been in a multiple car crash, limping and walking like he. But he was awesome to talk to. But you could tell it was taking its toll on him.
Yeah. It's too bad, but Lex Luger has quite the testimony.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance to listen to Daryl's testimony, and if you get a chance to hear him preach, go hear him, because I would recommend him highly, because he's it's not just him being using the name, because he said, I don't even like baseball anymore. What do I do with baseball? And he's got something good to say, and it's it's a message of hope, because he at one point he lost hope, and he'd lost everybody. He lost all of his friends.
So many stories in his life, just from what I'm hearing you say, and his wife stuck by him. Yeah, you find out who your friends are when you get down there at the bottom.
I've found that out. So you can figure out who's there with you, and
who's going along for the ride.
Some people are going to desert you.
Yeah.
And but hey, and that's one thing Daryl said. He says, "Hey, God never left me." He said, "I left him. I never looked for him."
He tried to,
yeah. But his amazing story, and some shocking stuff that he went through as a human being, and but no, he's a very pleasant. My wife was like, "That was an awesome message," and so
wow.
So it was. We're grateful to spend some time with him. Just we were there with Lee Weeks was there as well. Lee knows Daryl and introduced us, because I'm Lee's agent. So it was a good visit. So the CPE was a good show. Again, try to get to the Florida Christian Writers Conference and come to Michelle and I's class at night. That is going to be a hoot.
There you go. Well, I put your website up on the screen, DaleDidway.com.
You just updated it. My wife just updated it, which is a good thing.
I was going to ask you, what's going to be the blog schedule going
I wasn't doing it. I don't know yet. Really, this weekend was a blur. I haven't really had a chance to even think about it. Soon, in fact, maybe a history of the high five might be a good topic for a blog.
Or these just athletic cultural gestures. I don't know. Or the wave. How many parts of our culture has athletics influenced? The wave, The
Oh my
high
goodness,
five,
yeah, it's a lot of it like
pro
that.
football players tapping each other on the butt. I mean, really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the
I don't
crazy.
think there's nothing wrong with it. Some people get
Well,
offended by that. I don't think
all
nothing wrong with that at all. I don't think.
I've seen them hold hands in a huddle.
Yeah,
But yeah, if you hadn't been through that gauntlet, back
you don't
off.
understand it.
You don't understand.
Exactly.
You don't understand the
Yeah,
bond. You really don't. You just see what you want to see, or you make
yeah.
whatever inference you're predisposed to make. But when you get stripped down to just the core of your, and that's what it gets down to in the heat of competition, you really find out who people are. And that's why I think you're such a good minister. Your ministry
Yeah,
will always
well,
prosper because you get to see that core, deep down.
it was funny because when I was talking to Daryl, we kind of was talking about who we've talked to, we've met, and I brought up Clint's name, Clint Hurdle, and he goes, "Man," he said that dude was rough back in the day. So I said, "Yeah, he was." I mean, I didn't know him then, but he told me he was. Anybody that George Breck kicks out as your roommate, it's got to be because you're partying too much. You got to be a rough guy. So, but yeah. So, Clint told me that story. He said George Breck came up to him and says, "Man, you can't live here no more." He says you're partying too much.
I never had that said about me, and I think I've said that about a few. But
Yeah,
well, Dell,
so,
we won't see you again until the first Tuesday of next month, and that'll be a
right.
little while. I think we got more Tuesdays this month than normal, but in any event, it's always good
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
to have you share with us, and we appreciate you
Yeah,
taking your time to share with
I
us.
think we'll have some good news to report on the next show. We had some good meetings with some publishers about me and about some clients of mine as well. So some good things are starting to shake loose now that people are starting to get back to normal. So
Well,
opportunities are going to be out there.
lead the way and tell us more about it, and we appreciate you sharing tonight, Dell, really.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Folks, that was Dell Didway, and you will see him twice a month here on PJNet. You see right now the view high atop the Eagle's Nest broadcast facilities here at pjnet.tv. I am about to bust open at the seam. I have some news, and just go ahead, if you're in the PJNet family, and mark the 15th or the 22nd of January. Just go ahead and mark that on your calendar. Just put a big X through it, because I want you to make some plans, because something is going to happen. And it's been a dream for some time that I've had. But today we began to put in motion a plan to hold an event for God and country on that day. And that's all I know for now. But trust me, I will be teasing the heck out of this. But I have only told, I think, one, maybe two people about that. The plan was just hatched this afternoon. And can't wait to share more. If you want to know more about it, if you go on Facebook and that little green dot is in the corner of my profile picture, that means I'm here. I'm usually here normally until about 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning. Now, not tonight, because I've got some contractors that will be finishing up the bathroom tomorrow. So I can't stay up real late, but I'd love to share more about what we're doing. And listen, appreciate all of you who join us in the chat room, those of you who watch on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And I hope that this program and the people that we have here have been an inspiration to you, been a blessing to you. But I leave you with this challenge. What is the boldest thing that you have ever done for Jesus Christ? And how long ago was that? Let's not be satisfied with either answer.